जी सर, you are audible.
Yeah. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Dr. Shaji Varghese Kudiyat, welcoming you all to the English International session of International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy. We are conducting the 1363rd uninterrupted daily Zoom session today. And today our guest is Dr. Maya VALECHA, who is an allopathy MBBS MD gynecologist doctor, and who is very passionately serving humanity, not only through her medical service, but also as a social activist in involving in multiple ways in the social problems associated with the society, locally, nationally, and internationally. So today, before we proceed, I wish to have a 1 minute silent prayer so that our speaker will be able to convey her messages in the rightful manner, so that the audience and all of us will be able to perceive it in the right sense, and also for the fulfillment of the visions and missions of International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy in Service to Humanity. So let us have 1 minute silent prayer. Thank you. So today we are having an important discussion from Dr. Maya VALECHA on a topic of the World Health Organization's International Pandemic Treaty, which have a deadline to sign on 27th May of 2024. So a lot of changes are happening in the world, irrespective, very far different from what has happened so far in the world, which we are familiar with. Certain big, great reset is happening, which many of us are unable to believe or understand. So even the doctors are not aware about it. So many things are happening around us, which we should need to know, so that we will be able to get prepared to proportionately respond, so that our freedom, our healthy existence will be guaranteed. So we have a responsibility towards ourselves and also towards our fellow human beings around the world. So it is a collective, responsible togetherness that we need to express and show now, so that our freedom and our healthy existence will be guaranteed. So there are deep state forces that are wrongly managing and trying to enslave us, which we are most of us are unaware about. So today, Dr. Maya VALECHA is a well-known social activist and medical doctor who is from Gujarat. She is well versed with the social problems, and she is a researcher conducting so many deep studies in this matter. And she is well versed person to convey what is happening in the International Pandemic Treaty that have far-reaching consequences. And Dr. Maya VALECHA is the best person to convey whatever happening around us in this regard. So Dr. Maya VALECHA is a regular participant and presenter of different ideas in this platform. So without much introduction, I directly hand over the Zoom platform to Dr. Maya VALECHA, so that she will be able to convey all this information which we are highly needed for our healthy, free existence in this world. Over to you, Dr. VALECHA. Please proceed. You please unmute. Please unmute, doctor. Yeah, now you can proceed.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And like you said, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. See, this topic of WHO treaty. Now it can't be even called WHO treaty because of I'll tell you the whole history, and now they kept on changing the name: WHO treaty, WHO convention, WHO instrument, and now they ultimately settled on WHO accord just a day before, you can say. And it started with they thought, or they tried to convince the world that because we were not prepared for COVID, and that's why we could not face it properly, and that's why all that happened to our social life, economic life, and health because of COVID, that all this destruction came. Now we know very well that it was not the COVID or any virus that was causing the destruction, but it was the response or the policies that they implemented. But somehow they made a committee, and for future, what they want is complete preparedness. Now this so-called treaty or accord is, I mean, as you read and as it developed throughout these last 2 years, it's not anything about health, but the way COVID was everything about, it looks like a trade treaty. It doesn't even look like a health treaty. We will see how exactly it is. And for that, uh, just a brief history of WHO itself. That WHO initially might have been, which is in doubt now, for promoting health, but the whole concept of public health, which we learned during our college days and for right up to maybe 2000, it was all about promoting good nutrition, good water, sanitation, hygiene, clean air. From that, suddenly from 2000, the pharmaceutical companies have almost, you can say, taken over 80% of the funding of WHO is by pharmaceutical companies or their front organizations like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation or Wellcome Trust, this, that. But they are all front organization. And because of that, they are manipulating WHO so that maximum, they want to, first intention is always maximizing profit, then the later intention of controlling, manipulating your genes and all that come. So initially, I mean, we are I would say too late to understand this. Say in 2003, just for around 8,000 cases world over, they called it pandemic, SARS-CoV first, what they were telling. And they made international health regulation. As Dr. Shaji was telling, not many doctors, not even public health experts. Most public health experts don't know anything about this WHO accord, what is happening, because media also will show whatever they want to show. They just don't want to show, they want to show it at last moment in a way that, oh, the world is saved. Now the accord has happened. Slight news started coming that, oh, it's in some trouble, it might not happen, this, that. And suddenly they will declare as if, oh, rain is not coming, oh, it has started raining, like that. So they want to show that this is something a big saver. Whereas what exactly, the way I say, then by 2003, and they whatever international health regulation they made just for 8,000 cases world over, that made possible the swine flu episode, scaring the world with some virus, introducing an vaccination. Somehow that time they were not very well prepared. Media was not so, they didn't try to, they thought it will work, and the media was not so much in control. There were more scientists at some key positions who immediately found out, and the vaccine they introduced immediately started showing severe side effects. And this time also there were severe, but the media and all that manipulated it so well that they till today they keep on saying that benefit was more than the whatever few rare side effects occurred. So after that, they prepared for all these years. Why I'm telling you this? Because now for preparing ourselves for future, we cannot think that we can do something drastic overnight. The way they have prepared, they are preparing for last 20 years when we could not understand much, and they could create a whole COVID drama where just a mild flu-like virus, and they made it a deadly virus. Everywhere you will read deadly virus. That so this was their long-term planning, and similarly for us in future, for the humanity, positive health, we will also have to plan it in a particular fashion. We will have to have patience and a particular direction. Then only we might be able to save humanity. So first, some legal aspect I'm just telling you that on 27th May, what all obstacles have come, not the obstacles of protest in particular, but whatever reason, the all countries are not agreeing. I'll come to why they are not. So because I'm just giving you the what exactly is going to happen. So on 27th May, till yesterday, they were still discussing whether this word, and they keep on changing. For every week, they have changed words here and there, here and there. I'll come to that, what all has come. So once this, what they are planning is that with whatever changes, diluted, whatever, but they will pass. So that will give just a panic button. Just press a panic button, say the world is at so much risk that we have to pass this accord anyway. We will change it accordingly as and when needed. But something is required. So they will pass it, but with many changes. Even on the day of, which is not as per the WHO rules also, this is not allowed. They have to give it in writing for people of the world to see and whether it is acceptable. But this time, I mean, who follows the rule? So even on the day of signing, they might keep on changing, and something finally they will sign. Once they sign, within from June, for 1 year, everybody has to ratify it. Now, Indian Constitution, Dr. Shaji, you were asking me what legal options are there. Indian Constitution says that for any international, either accord or treaty or whatever, parliamentary debate is not required. Only cabinet can approve it and give the ratification there in WHO. So that is one thing. But after that, whatever, suppose according to that treaty, if we want to change any rules in our country, any act, like Public Health Act is to be changed, or say Epidemic Act is to be changed, then at that time Parliament will be involved and people's opinion can be taken. But at this stage, Indian Constitution doesn't have any provision to stop the treaty. We can't go to court to stop the treaty. We can only after that, whatever the effects come. Now, once you sign the treaty, WHO rule says that for 2 years, you just can't get out of it. And whatever commitment you have made, the MHC, does it look like any health? It looks like some legal binding. It is legally binding. They are saying we are not legally, but what they say is this will be seen in accordance with the IHR, that is International Health Regulation, which is legally binding. So indirectly, WHO accord also becomes legally binding. Once you say, suppose after 2 years, you immediately tell that we don't want to be with this accord. Even then, it will be, you can come out only after 1 year of that, once you give in writing. So at least once it is signed, which will be there is one law, chance that they may not do, because there are so many disagreements. I will tell you in short, but that chances to me appears very less. They will sign something so that something comes up and everybody is bound. That is their main intention first. So at least for 3 years you are in it. You can't come out of it. So what the major uh, features of the treaty, I'll tell you that one thing, it's not only our representative. Even the representatives which are going there are not actually elected. Hardly once in a while, this our health minister or otherwise secretaries and all that, there are 4 or 5 officials who are appointed, they go. And these meetings are attended not only by the country representatives, but also other so-called stakeholders. And they are, who are they? These are, I mean, those who are connected with WHO. What does it mean? All the funders of WHO, they will be able to attend all the meetings and keep on directing. It's said that they will not vote, but we know that once they know every detail, they will indirectly pressurize what to vote and what not to vote. Thirdly, I mean, this pandemic definition, we know it was changed originally in 2008-9, that it's not just the severity of the disease, but number. And with RT-PCR like test, you can give any number, anytime. But now what they have done in the final draft, they have completely removed the definition of pandemic itself. In the first draft, it was there. Now in the last draft, they have removed so they don't know what they, technically it means this pandemic preparedness accord doesn't know what pandemic is, but that's a funny part of it. Similarly, the infodemic originally was there, that all misinformation will be tried to, how to control misinformation was major. But now they have, because of our protest, world over activists are opposing this pandemic treaty. In between, Japan had huge processions and huge press conferences by even doctors, senior experts against this WHO treaty. Many places in the world, like 26 states of USA, have opposed this treaty. UK has officially said that they will not sign the treaty. Why? Not because of, I mean, they have written that lockdown and all that effect matter. But the major reason for which they are opposing is because the treaty originally had said that some 10% of the vaccines, these countries have to donate to WHO, and WHO will give it to poorer countries. And another 10% at subsidized rate, they will give it to WHO. Now here we can see what is the plan for WHO. We will one of the plan, because during COVID, good that African countries did not have money, and most of the countries are less than 5% vaccinated. And the whole continent, we can say, is saved. WHO or the actors behind it don't want this. So they wanted through this treaty. And one of the meetings of WHO, which I attended, where they had called all the stakeholders or civil society organization, somehow I filled up the form and attended. All the organization which has come were all planted. All were saying in one voice that, oh, all these poor countries must get the vaccine and they must be, the rich countries have to commit, nice words, rich countries have to commit their responsibility and all this. But actually what they want is nobody should be spared of their injections. So, but one of the reasons, the main reasons, these companies during COVID also, they had said that we will not share our whatever technology is there. So now they are in a dilemma. On one hand, they want everybody to have the vaccine. On the other hand, they want to have profit also. Now, what they are trying to do is throughout the treaty, they keep on, it's like terrorism. They will have 1 or 2 episodes, but after that, they will have a show that they prevented this particular thing. And for the prevention, they will have all the money spent. So instead of having more and more episodes, this particular treaty tells us that every country has to prepare an infrastructure to chase the virus. Everywhere there should be enough testing. So all test kit making companies will profit, number one. Every country has to provide, that much of staff. And latest in this is, I'll tell you, global health emergency workforce. This word to word is picked up from Bill Gates' lecture or his promotion, that there should be a like peacekeeping force. Now there is a global health keeping force, and for that $1 billion. So all our resources for chasing the virus, continuously testing. And who else would know more than Kerala? Where for 2 cases of Nipah, so many testing, so much of lockdown. They are Bangladesh, for some 300 cases in 23 years, they are having 453 centers devoted for Nipah. So they target, and they are calling Bangladesh a target country. So they target tomorrow every new other virus. They will say that now this has become the virus of concern. Everybody has to test. Everybody has to do this. And that's what we have now legally written. We have gone there and shown our consent that yes, we will do this. Original draft had even shown, it was written that we have to show, other countries will come and see how much preparedness you have. You are already doing all these things. Now, after so much of protest, they have said that I'll self-assessment report everybody, but still you have to send the report that we are doing this, we are doing that. So that is important. Our resources, instead of being used for any positive thing, like providing nutrition, providing clean water, for any air pollution, our resources will be used for all this testing, then helping poor nations. Nobody helps these days. This aid word is actually you get loan. IMF will give, World Bank will give, and then rich countries will help the poor countries. Now there's no help as such. Even if, like India had vaccine Maitri, what they call. We sent vaccine to many countries. Some was vaccine Maitri, some was sold. Whatever you do, ultimately vaccine company will get the money. Even if India gives it free of charge, India means our government will buy from the vaccine company and then send. So your and my money will give. And if there is really some natural disaster and people of any country is suffering, we don't mind sending our help. But this is all created so-called non-existent emergencies for which these companies will sell everything from test kit to new drugs to everything. One of the clause is that during pandemic, all the regulatory procedures, now this regulatory is deregulatory procedures, that all the drugs, the way during, COVID, many drugs were passed, sometimes even if it has not shown any benefit in the trial. Antiviral drugs were passed. Some of them who were even without, like itolizumab was passed even without any trial. Nobody knows how that drug was. So one of the clauses, because there is emergency, the panic will be created. And then all the drugs which are hardly tested can. So one of the clause in this pandemic treaty is like this. And who will fund this this whole thing is funded. This workforce $1 billion per year. Other whatever infrastructure is needed for this treaty, that will be, previously it was clear-cut written that countries will contribute. On top of that, pandemic product producers, means who is producing. So whosoever, whichever companies are getting benefit out of this pandemic will be contributing for the expenses. So they will always want, these companies are funding the project and they will be benefited by this project. So there will be more pandemics, there will be more such testing and testing and testing. That clause is slightly changed. What they have written is other, now, I mean, other stakeholders, other private players will also contribute funding of this project. So we know the way 80% of WHO is being funded by pharmaceuticals, and they are getting benefit out of everything. With all this, I mean, there are so many other things, but I'm telling only the important ones. Timely, the research on virus, which some say there's nothing like you cannot, but whatever Wuhan lab-like research is, and there are some in Kerala also, they will be, okay, they are saying that regulations, but outright demand should be, there cannot be such gain of function research, but that's not the WHO treaty particularly mentions it, that there should be, I mean, they should be done in a safe manner. Similarly, they are saying now, this yesterday's latest, that whatever drugs and are introduced, they will be safeness, quality, and affordability. But they were telling these vaccines also safe and effective. So who will decide whether they are safe? Ultimately, they will say that this is safe. Later on, if something comes up, they will say that, but still this was more beneficial because there was so much of emergency. Now, One Health program, as per just recently, out of that Public Health Act of Kerala, 20,000 ducks were destroyed just because 2 ducks were found positive. So similarly, they will keep on destroying our resources. And I mean, things will definitely, 20,000 ducks destruction is not in Odisha also they have. Okay. So far as this compensation too, suppose some injury occurs because of this fast approved drugs or vaccines, then original draft also said, and now they have made it more vague, but like USA and UK, it will be the government who will compensate. So it will be tax, the profit will go to the companies, but if injury occurs, then that will be paid by the government, means people's money. Now these are the kind of, now they are saying that nothing in the pandemic, this agreement is order or direct for legal means or nothing. We will not order vaccine, we will not order lockdown, we will not, these are written things. But they know that they will create such a panic. We know during COVID also there was no agreement. That's what I'm telling people, that they are trying to create more panic with this treaty, that something severe is going to happen or has happened. They are saying that COVID was so severe that we could not handle it, which by itself is a lie. But they want to maintain that fact, and for this accord is purely to create panic and make people do whatever they want them to do. So now, after so many protests and all that, what they have said it, this is not order, nothing will be there. But they know IHR is legally binding, and secondly, they will create so much panic. What they are saying is, we will just guide and you make the rule in your country. And we know our country, Kerala has already made one such act, which is draconian to the extent that if something goes wrong with the because of the health officer who is allowed all authoritarian power, if something goes wrong, you cannot go to any court. That's what is written in Kerala Act, that there cannot be any legal proceedings against that particular officer or that particular act. So our country now, India at center level, Law Commission has already advised that during COVID, our laws were so slack that we need harsher laws so that people follow whatever is told to do. Actually, so much of brutality by police and all that we had seen. And now they say that that was not enough. People should be fined more, people should be given more punishment if they break the law. Then only they will follow all the instruction. And I am very happy that people did not follow lockdown so much. Around us, it was all. And that's why we were immune. Now, what the last part which I want to say, I might have missed few things, but major part I have told, that this whole accord is to divert one thing, our resources from positive health to all these kinds of tests, and create panic. And off and on, like in this area, this is now the, for bird flu, US is having already stock full of bird flu vaccine, whereas it is, all these years now they are creating that climate, that now they say that bird flu is in this country, so many countries now articles have started coming that bird flu has spread so much. It has already jumped from birds to cows. Cows means mammals. And because it is so widespread, there are more chances of mutation, and it will jump. Chances of jumping it to the people has increased a lot. Now, this is the way they start. And they have already piling up. They have started piling up vaccines for bird flu, which is so far, it's such, even in cows, what they are saying. There are not, they say cow is eating less and giving less milk, those who are affected. But on the other hand, they say so many cow, quite a lot of population of cows are. So it's all building up right now. Similarly, in future, they might keep on building up one or the other. So this particular accord is for earning and whatever other. Once you have money, you can have many other means to control the people. Along with that, then so what should be our strategy? We have to first, of course, definitely we have to, at every stage, whatever they do, we have to oppose and create awareness in people. First, we have to be aware, then create awareness in the people. But at the same time, we should, the way they have made a long-term plan, we should also make a long-term plan. What I have understood all these years is that so far, people, maybe some out of faith in the government and all that, we have always thought, health is never made an issue. We always depended, most of the people trust doctors, trust the government, that they will do always good for us. People have started realizing, but at the same time, what we should do is, we should try to own the public healthcare system. Because public healthcare system is running from people, for people's money. It's people's money, and it should be run by people with all our participation and our control, our opinion, our views. That should be our means, not only people. I have written few few drafts, and in that, it's the healthcare professionals and people. Combined committees there should not be, first of all, it should be nationalization, and that is no private ownership of any either healthcare facility and manufacturing, that is pharmaceutical companies. Then only, because this private profit has brought us to this extent. So manufacturing, right from manufacturing to the healthcare delivery, the private profit motivation has to go. Now, after that, we know backdrop, what are the, how the nationalized system can degenerate if it is given in the few hands of either government, IAS officers. What it should be there, it's a people's committee who will manage right from mohalla clinic, because in India, we have a good structure from primary health care center to community health care center, and then district hospitals, and then bigger hospitals. Everywhere, the area which caters to, that hospital is catering, people's committee, along with professionals working in that hospitals, both paramedicals and medical, should manage the whole affair. Government has to give whatever the fund is. That doesn't mean government will have control. And this we can achieve only if we have achieved the nationalization through movement, not by any executive order, the way banks were nationalized by government. No, not that way. This has to be achieved through people's movement. And during the movement, we want this. One of the demand is for India in my draft is that all the facilities, like all the knowledge systems, Ayurveda, homeopathy, Siddha, whatever, naturopathy, should be available in all government hospitals. It should not be that one homeopathy hospital is here and all majority of the government hospitals are having only allopathy. Poor people just can't keep on going from here. They hardly know what is. Once they see that all these things are available in my country, they will decide. And from there, there should be a healthy discussion among the different branches of the doctors also, that okay, I'm treating is like this, you are treating what results I'm getting, what results, and that should be displayed, that from this branch this diseases were cured with this with this rate of success and all that can. And sometimes that no, I cannot, my knowledge is, we don't, you try in your branch what can be done, together we can do what. So these kind of healthy things can happen only if the private motivation goes out and everybody is open to the other ideas also. I'll give you just one example, that in China, even MBBS doctors are taught for 6 months traditional Chinese medicine. And 80% of the patients in China till today are being treated with traditional Chinese medicine. Because as I understand, that all these our traditional medicines, if you call it traditional, I prefer to use the words other knowledge systems. Why call it either alternative or traditional or whatever? Other knowledge systems, they are less expensive, number one, they're less invasive, and that obviously if it is less invasive, it has less side effects. So that kind of thing. And we have seen, for years, this to work in many, many patients in our country. So all should be given equal field, equal footing. That's the whole idea behind this nationalization thing. Pharmaceutical companies also can be, once we implement a system, we can find the ways and method. Complete blueprint we cannot, but say particular drug is, once the private profit motive goes out of these pharmaceutical companies, half the production will be gone out immediately. That's what I personally think. Most of the things are not required these days. Every other day one or the other vaccine is getting introduced. For pneumonia you have vaccine, for this thing you are, all the diseases are because of malnutrition in this country. And once the positive health comes in right from education to the implementation. This particular, even the hospitals will become the centers for imparting positive health instructions rather than just giving medicine. Person comes and writes something medicine and go away. That should not be the health profession. That's the concept change. Everything can come if we change the system from private profit orientation to a public sector. And but I'm very clear about this thing, that public sector under public control, never public sector under government control, because public, it's public's money and public has to control it. So this is, there are short term methods where we have to each, like Kerala Health Bill, I personally feel, Health Act rather now, is not opposed to the extent that it should be opposed. Rather, it's not. Legally, we will not be able to achieve. Like I told you, for this particular treaty, there's no provision in the constitution where we can even challenge it. Then certain, some advocates we have to convince that this is this is that, and please try, please try. The way I had tried for vaccine rollout, I tried all scientific reasons given that vaccine rollout is not needed. But first you have to convince advocates know the limitations of the court, so they will not try, because their name can be, or they might face some wrath in the court. So, and then the judges, one of our judges was found to be connected to a vaccine company. So there are so many things, but once we start people's movement, that no, for every health policy, it will be people, I mean, and that's participatory democracy, what I call is. Every month there should be a meeting in the hospital, what we want, what we don't want, what is required, what is lacking. So this kind of people's movement has to start. And the way I understand, in Kerala, to some extent, before few years, before 25 years or so, some amount of people's participation had started, but it was again, it went down. The uh, what funding was not properly, especially after 2014, the funding did not come from the center, and all such things had come. But if there is a people's movement, then we can force the government for many things. These are some of, Dr. Shaji, you would like to have some question answer session in bit, and
I think, Doctor, you can have the initial presentation of ideas, then we can have an open forum so that anybody wish to ask any questions that can be done.
because
Uh,
I'm trying to shorten my, so that last 10-15 minutes, if
yeah.
anybody wants to ask anything, I can. And now we are almost 15 minutes. Uh, hmm.
So now regarding this matter, the audience, anybody has any questions, please come up, share your ideas and knowledge about this, and also ask questions to clarify the matter. Dr. Maya is one of the best experts who studied in depth in this matter, because so many things of deception are happening. They are changing its names, and many ideas are ended and then removed and entering again in a different manner. All these things are happening. So this is a big turning point in the history of mankind to such a big deceptive manner. Big things are going to happen. So we should be at least aware about it. So we are all trying to do something in a local, national, and international level collectively. So we don't have that collective togetherness at present. I hope today or tomorrow we need to develop such a collective interconnectivity so that we will be able to do something bigger manner. So anyway, please raise your hand and ask your questions and share your ideas so that we will be awakened and we will be able to act together. So today also I am discussing with some of our doctors who are fighting in Kerala with the Public Health Act of Kerala 2023. None of them are aware about these things happening. Very sad to say. The Public Health Act is first passed in Kerala, and now it is like a trap, and the public health officer, who is an allopathy doctor, will have unlimited powers to do anything of his choice, even to inject or give any medicines to anybody suspected of any contagious disease, or not only contagious, communicable and non-communicable diseases also. All these are preparedness to implement this pandemic treaty. So key areas they are bringing, and they are projecting that area as a global example. In India, Kerala is already projected as a best health standard in India, and even international projections I have seen that Kerala is such a nice 100% literacy state. Whatever they do is they are using certain terminology. Health standards are very high. The standards are that they are selling maximum number of maximum percentage of allopathic medicines in Kerala in India. So that is their standard. So such things they are putting, and they are using religious authorities and teams to start maximum number of hospitals in Kerala. And also we can see the religious groups are utilized to make big hospitals of a gigantic manner through their funding. And we are all just innocent people who don't understand the purposes of all these things. So many things are happening. So somebody raised the hand, Dr. Shobhana. Please ask your questions. Please unmute and ask your questions, please.
സർ, ഞാൻ കുറെ നാളായിട്ട് കേൾക്കുന്നില്ലായിരുന്നു. ഇന്ന് ഒന്ന് കേറാൻ വേണ്ടി ശ്രമിച്ചപ്പോ കിട്ടുന്നില്ല, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് വിളിച്ചത്.
Okay. Anyway, you are inside. You have any questions to ask?
ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഒന്നും ഇപ്പൊ ഇല്ല. ക്ലാസ് നല്ലപോലെ ഒന്നും കേട്ടില്ല സാറിന്റെ ഒന്നും തന്നെ.
No, Dr. Maya is the one who took the class. I was just moderating only. So, Dr. Danesh, please ask your questions. Dr. Danesh. Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Maya, it's really an excellent session from you, because this is one of the area where we homeopathic as well as Ayurvedic and all the eye systems, along with the modern system doctors, to work for the betterment of the society and betterment of each and every nation. But things are not in our control now, because we all know that the WHO is a group of people sitting together, and they are discussing about those things which are beneficial to the mankind in a different way, because they thought in the other ways that you need vaccination to all diseases that are contagious, and you have to make things possible by means of injecting all those medicine together, or one by one after another, like that. And though even when a simple disease like COVID comes into the nature, then you need to give they are saying that it is a big disorder, the big thing, big calamity, and it will take human being. But really, frankly speaking, it is not. It is just like any viral disease. Then my question to you is that how we can project our scenario that all these eye system can do such wonders. We have a lot of evidences with us how we can move forward to reach the WHO, and how the WHO people can allow these nice people to sit together along with them.
Yes, actually, that's what I was trying to say. That suppose, I mean, we direct our movements. We are not having right now any movement, but suppose we direct our movement to WHO, that we don't want WHO in our country. Still, this will happen. Why? Because it's not just WHO. During swine flu, it was well exposed, and we all know that WHO, along with our governments, are under the effect of pharmaceutical companies. Now, what I was trying to make, understand is that they have taken such a long time to do all this, develop their big empire. For us to do immediately anything, we need people. Our power is in people's power. That is people's power. We don't have power of money or say the system in our control. We want it in our control. So how do we have to start somewhere? So how will people, if you go to people, like I'll tell you during vaccination also, if you tell them that we oppose the vaccine, because it's very harmful for this and that and all that, and this is not, what was their first concern? They wanted was, from next day, I should be able to do my job. I should run my taxi. I should be able to run my little shop. And for that, I will take vaccine, but I have to feed my family. So we have to create demands which will appeal to people as well as it is health related. And that's one of the reason why see what my nationalization project is, for killing two birds with the same arrow. One thing, if you do nationalization, I mean, that demand will come later. I'm not saying that first demand will be that. We just a minute. We kill their money power. And whatever social wealth is there should be utilized for social benefits. That is one thing, and their power will be cut, field by field. So we can't go for IT, we can't go for this, I mean, plastic, all that they were benefited from this particular pandemic. But we are worried. What we want people to say is, and what people actually want, that free and quality healthcare for all from government hospitals. We want enough number of government hospitals. We need all services there. We need enough staff there over the period. And for this demand, people will come. People have told me on face to face that we can come for this, because they all are, I mean, even right up to middle class are now harassed by high medical bills. I mean, apart from those who are insured or have, even medical insurance has its own limitations. People are harassed by high medical bills. So people want, if not totally free, but subsidize whatever healthcare and good quality and accessible to all. Along with that, we can put this. So once people are with us, they will realize that two parallel systems. We know either telecom industry, oil industry, that if the private sector is running along with public sector, which flourishes and which is sabotaged. So we know that private sector, and in healthcare, we have enough number of examples. First, doctors will not, why do we see vacancies in the not getting filled in public hospitals? Because private hospitals are there and people want to earn. Doctors will not go to the public hospitals. Even during COVID in Gujarat, they offered 3 lakh per month to the doctors and serve COVID centers. They said, no, we are earning much more. From one patient, we are earning 2.5 lakhs. Why do we want to go and earn 3 lakhs per month? So we definitely, their exorbitant luxurious income will go. But in the draft itself, we have said that, okay, you will get as much as an IAS officer. Now that's not and all these calculations, even money calculation. So for getting people with us and reaching up to WHO, we will have to start from lower level. From there, it goes upper. From there, that policy, you have to establish, your right has to be established. Like we went to the hospital in government hospitals in Baroda, and we told them that we want monthly meeting. Whether it is there in your rules or not your rules, that's not our concern. If there are enough people, press will give you coverage. Police will definitely be sympathetic to such. This is what we have seen and observed. Press gives. So slowly, once you are on these such demands, pro people demands, they will listen to your other things also. I got good response, local press. During COVID also, told against vaccine, against children's vaccine, against lockdown. They were covering mine or here and local channels because they know that these people are talking about pro people things. So
Yes,
that's the way, and that big movement will ultimately control WHO. Right now, if we think that how to, never think in, for going higher up, you have to take first step, second step, third step, and then go.
yes, yes, but there is a difference between the government sector and private sector, because it's a medical field, and the private people, particularly medical companies, are giving lot of money to the
Doctors.
organizers, so that they can buy anything. Even WHO can be.
Yeah, that's why we don't want private. That's
Yes,
why
yes.
we don't want private sector to be in such a vital sector. We can
So,
say we can't let them play with our life, our bodies.
to me, what I feel is that what we have to do is just pressing the government, forcing the government to change the laws, and enabling us to do what are things we would like to do. Because we were having, as you all know, that we have the power to practice whatever things come on our way. Even any homeopath can treat anything before this medical bill, but now there are restrictions. They are asking us to report to the authority, and the authority will decide what are the things to be done, what are the things not to be done. So we are just like puppets now. Am I right? And how what we
Yes,
need?
we are just referral centers for the allopathy hospitals to gather their information and ultimately get them as their patients, and we are becoming referral centers.
No, but that's why what I'm telling is that I'll again send my draft to you, particularly Dr. Danesh, that how this particular new system we are demanding will be under the control of people as well as doctors and other health professionals, but no private. See, particularly pharma, we cannot allow private because they are the ultimate villain, corrupting all the other systems, right from doctors. You know how pharmaceutical companies are corrupting doctors, number one. They are corrupting governments. Electoral band is just minute thing what they must have given to the government. But still, there's a lot of amount which is given to the political parties through electoral bonds by even pharmaceutical companies, and particularly those who were found at fault. They have particularly given. So pharma is the first major. Second is this corporate hospitals. And corporate hospitals they all again corrupt the smaller hospitals or the general practitioners. General practitioners get their own cut for referring a patient to either some X-ray clinic or laboratory or corporate hospitals. So the whole system is so rotten that some what I was reforms here and there by suggesting it's not going to work. Or the way I had told once that okay, WHO wants to capture now all this Ayush also. We know it. They have conducted Ayush, they want to incorporate Ayush with them. So what will happen? Ayush will have the same fate as allopathy.
Dr.
Either you go and mix with the system.
It's already our time, so I
Yeah.
request Dr. Mariamma to say a vote of thanks in short so that we can wind up and proceed with the next session. So over to you, Dr. Mariamma John, to say vote of thanks and proceed with the next section. Thank you. Please unmute. Yeah.
From my heart, I
Yeah.
thank Dr. Maya VALECHA for a nice presentation. Thank you, madam. Please come again with us. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
See you again, Dr. Maya. Over to you, Dr. Danesh or Dr. Mariamma, to proceed with the next session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you and bye.
Thank you, madam.